inside? I hope not. Okay, traditionally, with a house like this, straight through the door into the first reception room. And it's not a bad size, first and foremost. I can't see any signs of cracks, but wallpaper can often cover a multitude of sins. In this case, it hasn't worked. This would all have to come off and you'd have to re-skim again. I'm just looking over here. That either means radical or they were thinking about putting radiators up here, but I can't see any in here at the moment. But there is a little bit of original coving up there, so I try and keep that. Through here, we've got, firstly, we've got these glass doors. Get rid of them. They are dangerous and a hazard. I don't want them anywhere in my house. Now, into the second reception room. Again, it's what I would expect of a house of this age. Nice high ceilings. You've got a fireplace there, which has seen better days. It needs to be completely decorated yet again. But I have noticed that the windows do look okay. And through into the kitchen. It's very, very small. There's hardly anything in here as well. You know what I'm gonna say? You could actually create the space by knocking this through, having a nice big kitchen diner. But look what I've spotted just out the corner of my eye. Have a look at this, people. We've only got a stair lift. Okay, here we go. See you in a minute. Just when you want to go upstairs without using your old knees, there's no batteries. You could, of course, sell this on, but there are charities that recycle them for people who otherwise might find them out of financial reach. Just give me 2 seconds. The old knees aren't what they used to be. We're upstairs in the family bathroom. It's not a bad size bathroom at all. You would have to rip all this out, start again, put a fresh, brand new suite in here. But it is upstairs, which is what I like. Second bedroom's here. Again, there's lots of space in here. It's a double bedroom. Lots of wood chip though. So I'd like to get that off the walls. Again, freshen it up, brighten it up a little bit as well. And in the hallway, you have got damp and more damp damage everywhere in this hallway. Get that sorted as soon as possible. Wow, have a look at this. Look at this movement. Now, just a guess, but I think that could be a false wall, to be honest with you. That could come out. Or you could even think about partitioning that room off in there. Just an option. And across the hallway to the main bedroom. Polystyrene tiles, the first thing I've seen. Get rid of those. They are a huge fire hazard. Brighten this whole place up. Brighten the whole of the upstairs up. Modern colours, modernise it completely throughout. And outside needs modernising too. Added to that, there's still an outside loo. But hold it, before you think about demolishing it, they've become very popular for gardeners and they're handy for kids that are playing outdoors. Save all the mucky feet trailing through your kitchen. It's a decent Victorian end terrace that needs pulling into this century with a guide price of £50,000 plus. An agent from the auction house that sold it accepted our invitation to tell us his thoughts.
First impressions with this property, it really does need some money spending on it, ranging from new kitchen, bathroom, rewiring, gas central heating system and general decor and flooring improvement throughout.
So when renovated, what does he think this house could rent for?
I feel it's likely to achieve in the region of £500 to £525 per calendar month when renovated.
And if it went on the resale market?
On the open market, again, when renovated, it's likely to achieve in the region of £110,000 to £115,000.
So a couple of issues. The outside, you could see that subsidence or that little bit of movement. I think that's historic and has settled, so no problem there. On the inside, you've got that damp issue, which would need to be sorted. It's an end terrace, it's yours. You can get on with it and get the pros in, get it sorted as soon as possible. After that's all done, I think you've got yourself a good little project. Let's see who agreed when it went under the hammer.
I'm looking for a start at 55,000. 50. At £50,000, bid me. At 50,000, thank you, sir, at 50.
Off the mark at £50,000, but this lot had a long way to go. We rejoin in the midst of a bidding war with the price at £72,000.
It's bigger than you, sir. And you're all bigger than me. At £72,000 at the back of the room, at 72,000 and a half, 73 and a half, is the chap on the wall at 73 and a half if you want, sir. 73 and a half, 74 now, so it's your turn. 74 and a half, sir. 75 now, and a half again. 76 and a half. You've let him have it. Very gallant, sir. At £76,000 to the big gentleman on the back wall. At £76,000 for the first time, second time, third and final time it goes at £76,000. Sold, it's yours, sir, at £76,000, and thank you.
A battle fought in good spirits, but it was Adam who emerged victorious. He's been dabbling in property with his wife, Philippa, for 15 years, building up a decent-sized portfolio in that time.
It's just me and you.
He's based in Northampton, so I met him back at the house to find out what brought him up the M1 to Derby.
Meet me on the motorway. Together we could
Adam, nice to meet you.
Hi there, nice to meet you.
Congratulations, pal.
Thank you very much.
How do you find it?
Okay, we were looking in Derby area, had a look at one before Christmas and didn't go through with that one. Looked into the auction side of things, thought I'd go and have a look at the auctions. I did do a bit of homework, went out to see some properties. Went to the auction, two interesting, one went far too high. Bid on this one and managed to get it.
Is this the kind of property that you look for?
It is, yes. It needs a lot of work doing to it, but there's some added value to get out of it, you know. So if we can get it at the right price, do a bit of work, it'll be worth some more money.
So what are your plans? It's now yours.
It's great, isn't it? No, we are going to have to take the whole place almost to pieces. It's got no central heating. We need to put some gas central heating in. It needs new kitchen, new boiler, new carpets, new decoration, needs some plastering. It's got lovely fire hazard tiles. Yeah, the list goes on. It's a long list. We'd reckon about 12,000 maybe around that area.
Where's the majority of that 12 grand going to be spent? Because there's a little bit of movement as well. Out the front, I can see a bit of movement.
Yeah, I think that's long-standing.
Okay,
You're
okay.
talking about a little bit of cracking on some of the bits.
Yeah.
We've had somebody look at that. They're happy that it's been there a long, long time. So, you know, there's nothing going on. Well, until the electricians and the plumbers get in and probably start hitting it a bit and thinking, right,
And making things go...
we'll be looking at those just to make sure they stay where they are.
And what about the damp? A significant...
little bit of damp, not much. I think it's more condensations. Again, there's no central heating in here, so whether there's ventilation gone through the house properly, I don't think it's major.
OK. Timescale, how long is it going to take to do the work?
Probably, he says, having had the gas people come today and look at the
Okay.
house, 4 to 6 weeks is what they're going to take to put the meter in.
OK,
We'll probably
OK.
be done by then.
Really?
Waiting to plug the pipe in, yeah.
4 to 6 weeks
Yeah,
from
yeah.
start to finish. That is moving some.
It is, but when you guys leave today, there will be work going on. So, you know, it's looking like this for a very short period of time.
OK, who does it? Who does your work? Do you get involved? Do you get your overalls on and start knocking stuff about?
Yeah, I do get involved.
Okay.
We do anything that's not qualified. So,
Okay.
so plumbing, gas, obviously, you know, you've got to have the professionals in. And then on top of that, carpentry, I can do some.
OK,
But I'd rather pay somebody to come back and fix it if it ever goes wrong.
gotcha. OK.
So professionals are doing the certificates.
Once the refurbishment is complete, Adam and Philippa plan to rent the house out. But there is a third party involved in this property investment.
This particular property, my oldest son's going to have a hand in, okay, financially, and he's going to have a hand in it physically.
Is he?
Yes. Yeah.
He's got to do some work.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we'll be using some brute force and ignorance, and he's got some friends as well, which will help, because we've got to remove one of the floors downstairs, which
Okay.
is solid onto soil. It's been there a while.
There's got to be something that he's getting from this in order for it to be helping you.
He will be getting from this, because he's actually saved up quite a lot of money and family and friends over the period of time. He's 20, so, you know, he's working as well, he's put
Yes.
money away, and
lad.
he will have a share in the house.
Fantastic.
Okay.
So is that what he wants to do? Does he want to sort of follow in your footsteps and get a portfolio rolling?
I think being on the property market in any part of the country is quite difficult if you're young, and I think if we can help him out on that first stage, and he's contributing, you know, we're not handing it out to him. Let's put it that way. We're certainly helping him, but we're not going to hand it out to him sort of forthwith and 100%.
There you go, it's yours. I'll do all the work, you can have it.
That won't be happening. But then again, he won't be doing all the work either. But he'll understand a little bit about what it takes to get a house into a livable position.
Well, Ad, I wish you all the best. Hope it all goes well and you stick to that 12 grand budget.
So do I. Nice to
Take
be
care.
here. Bye-bye.
Now, there's a confident man. Adam knows exactly what he wants to do and how to achieve it on this project. But will his tradesmen uncover any unexpected and expensive surprises? You can find out later in the programme.
I'm in South Wales, in the village of Penrhykyber, which is set in the beautiful Cynon Valley. There are local amenities on your doorstep and a train station, but you're only a half-hour drive from the Welsh capital, Cardiff, so it's an ideal commuter village. Well, I must have visited the valleys of Wales literally hundreds of times over the years for Homes Under the Hammer, and most of those times I'm here to see a terraced property. I mean, not surprisingly, because a lot of the properties in the valleys are exactly that, terraced houses built for the miners and others. So what do you think I am here to see today? It's a bungalow. £68,000 plus was the guide price, 2 bedrooms. Very intriguing.
It's a curious feeling.
Bungalows are often favoured for being on one level, and this steep site and stairs could be a problem. But access to the house is made much more possible by car. Those stairs seem hard to avoid entirely. So what have we got inside? Well, you walk into this very strange room. It's obviously the kitchen, but it's the full width of the bungalow. Now, there's no way this was the original design. I reckon this is some kind of an extension, and it is kind of unusual. But through there, you can see that would have originally been an exterior window on the property. But through into what is now, could have been the kitchen, I don't know, into the living room. Yeah, but I mean, it looks to be in pretty good condition. Pretty nice carpets, and doesn't smell damp, and the condition of the paint on the walls and stuff is good. Through into what would have been, I guess, the original main entrance to the property, and it could still be, in fact, and a more traditional kind of layout you'd have here. Living room over to that side there, bedrooms to the back, and yeah, again, it's not in bad condition, but lots of intriguing things going on. I mean, what's up here? Well, it was obviously originally the attic, but it's been boarded out and then obviously has been used as a bedroom. My guess, well, no, I know, this does not meet building regulations with this ladder and stuff like that. So you can't describe it as a bedroom. It's a useful space, though, and, yeah, just a good additional thing to what is proven to be quite a good little bungalow, actually. You could convert the loft into a bedroom under permitted development, as long as the roof space meets space requirements and you don't extend or alter the roof itself. You do, however, have to meet building regulation standards for stairs and openings that comply with fire regulations and ensure that the ceiling joists can support the load of a new room. There is one thing puzzling me in this room, though. With an opening that small, how did this double bed get up here? To get it back down, you could saw it in half, but unless you can magic it back together, it's destined for the skip. Let's head outside and see if this bungalow has any more tricks up its sleeve. Well, as you might have expected from a property built onto the side of the valley, the garden is actually fairly steep and terraced, but lots of retaining walls here. Of course, very expensive to put right if they go wrong, but just get them checked out to be sure. Another few little bits and pieces which certainly you should have a look at. This roof over the kitchen area there, as you can see, it's not at all similar to that roof in the fact that the pitch is a different angle. The tiles are vaguely similar, but I'm not too happy about the angle it's at. I mean, normally you'd be looking for 30 degrees slope off a roof to give you the right flow of water, especially off concrete tiles like that. So maybe that's something you could look to put right. But again, come out here, lots of places for your chairs and tables, and really make the most of that major asset of this property, which is that view.
Just like this. Look at that, look at this. Give me a hug, give me a kiss.
Beautiful, but of course there's no getting away from the steepness of the location. If access by car isn't sufficient, an outdoor stair lift could offer a solution. A resident eligible for a disabled facility grant might get some funding from the council, but don't assume anything. You'd really need to check it out first.
Hey, and off to school we go.
You learn something new every day, so time to learn something from a local estate agent.
I think this property would appeal to an older generation because they like to have bungalows because they're all on one floor. It makes it easy for them. And I think maybe it would be suitable for somebody that has mobility issues as well.
The agent thinks a simple and no doubt cheaper solution to the access would be to rejig the path so it's less steep. Good idea. No doubt about it, once you're inside on the level in this bungalow, it's great. I do love bungalows. Even if you thought an outside stair lift was an unnecessary expenditure, the garden and the retaining walls might need quite a bit of work. And when it comes to the inside, the renovations are going to cost quite a bit. So would spending all this money be worthwhile, bearing in mind the £68,000 plus guide price?
Once the work is complete on this property, I would suggest a marketing value of £105,000.
Well, you certainly can't knock the location, and bungalows are eternally popular. So a good set of combinations there. Bungalow in a lovely location and at a very decent guide price. Let's see who spotted it when it went under the hammer.
Guided at 68,000. Got to be 60 to start, hasn't it? Wave a hand at me then. 55, make it 50 then if you like, just get it going. Thank you, 50, I got you right at the back. That's 50. And 2 now, can I see? I've got 50. 52 I'm looking for. 52, thank you, 52. 54, 56.
The lot came up at the end of auction day, but clearly had attracted a lot of attention. We rejoin at 75,500.
75 and a half, 76 and a half, 77 and a half, 78 and a half, no. At 78,000, back with you then for the first time, second time, third and last time at £78,000. Yours, well done, sir, madam, sir, your number, please.
I got your number. I know you're gonna be there when I call.
The magic number for husband and wife David and Heather was 78,000, and that's how much they paid for this at auction. I met up with them at the bungalow to hear why they went for it. Heather, David, great to meet you both.
Nice to meet you.
Congratulations. Tell me why you wanted to buy this bungalow.
Originally, we were looking for something to sink our pension money into.
You say originally. Has the plan changed or what?
Yeah, because we were going to rent it out. But
right.
I think this is a door upper and cellar honour.
That still form part of the pension pot, though. It's just a slightly different strategy.
Yeah, and then reinvest it in something else that we could rent out.
Great. So why this particular house then, Heather?
Well, originally...
Well, you're laughing. What was going on?
When we went to the auction, we were going to bid on another house.
Oh.
And then this was a last-minute addition. Not many people had seen it.
Oh.
And I said to my husband, look at this looks great. So he said, well, we haven't seen it, we can't go for it. I said, no, but it's lovely. So you went and read the legal packs?
Yeah, so first cardinal sin was we hadn't seen it, but yeah, I've seen your show. So the first thing I did, I rushed out the room, went down and found the legal pack and read through it. And the auction was starting, there's me reading through the legal pack.
Not ideal.
No, but,
wow.
But I could see nothing wrong in the legal pack, so I felt happy
But
about bidding for it. But we didn't actually see inside till yesterday.
Oh, wow. So what did you think when you walked through the door yesterday?
I was pleasantly surprised, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, I know it needs a bit of work, updating, etc., but in some of the places we've been to see at the auctions, this is a palace.
Well, I don't think it would necessarily get the royal seal of approval right now, but once Heather and David have completed their planned works, which include sorting the kitchen roof out and a full renovation throughout, as well as a new kitchen and bathroom, it will be fit for a king or queen. Upstairs, though, well, that's a different story. So what about upstairs, then? What's the plan for that?
Well, I think...
That came as a surprise. We didn't know that was there.
Find... We knew there was a room up there, and it said it was boarded out, but when we saw there was a bed in it and units and bedside table, that was a bit of a surprise, because obviously it's an illegal bedroom. It was just a ladder going up, and I can't see any way you could put stairs in, really.
You did
Yeah,
mention about study, though, didn't you?
Yeah, it could be used as a study or a playroom even.
And then the rest of the room's just a bit of a refurbishment.
Yeah, tart them up a bit.
So who's going to be doing the work?
Be me, mainly. Brian's going to help me out. That's Heather's brother.
And is he qualified? Does he a builder? Or...
No, but he wants to learn, so...
Oh, great, well, give him a property to learn on, that's a good idea. And what about you? Have you got
Well, I've got a building background.
Oh, OK.
Although I have been a maths teacher for 20 years.
OK.
But before that, I was in the building trade.
Right.
What they call a gentleman bricklayer and stonemason.
OK. And are you going to get involved in the renovations at all, Heather?
Yeah, so, well, mostly the colour, decor.
Nice.
And keeping the books, how much we spend.
Which is?
Well, before we saw it, we thought about 10,000, but we might have to go up to 15, I think, because of everything we've got in mind now.
So what's the timescale for the work?
Thinking about 6 months, mainly, because we live in Northampton, so it's quite a trek from there.
And if this is a success, on to the next project?
Knowing David, definitely, yeah.
My future son-in-law calls me Project Man.
Oh, does he? You like your projects, do you? Oh, well, yeah. If they can all be as potentially successful as this, then great. Well, listen, congratulations. Good to meet you both. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing how you get on.
Thank you very much.
Well, Heather and David showing one excellent reason why you need to attend the auctions yourself there. This property, well, they wouldn't have found it had they not been there on the day, and it seems like they've got themselves a really great place. How will they get on sorting it out? You can find out later in the show.
Coming up, the Silverdale office might not look much, but it could be a hot property.
I'm pretty sure you could get at least 5 bedrooms in here.
And David and Heather's work has cooled off thanks to the glorious Welsh weather.
It does rain a lot here.
It doesn't rain, it rains.
It was just a few miles outside Derby city centre that we first saw a 2-bedroom end terrace house that not only had some signs of historical movement outside, inside wasn't looking too clever either. Have a look at this. Look at this movement.
Shaking all over.
Now, just a guess, but I think that could be a false wall. And this slightly wobbly house also had signs of damp, plasterwork not in great condition, and generally was in a bit of a sorry state, inside and out. But for 76 grand, it was bought at auction by part-time property developer Adam, who was ready to give it all his attention. So what are your plans? It's now yours.
It's great, no, we are going to have to take the whole place almost to pieces. It's got no central heating. We need to put some gas central heating in. It needs new kitchen, new boiler, new carpets, new decoration, needs some plastering. It's got lovely fire hazard tiles. Yeah, the list goes on. It's a long list.
All I want is everything. Am I asking too much?
Adam hoped that long list could be done with a 12 grand budget and a timescale of 4 to 6 weeks. We're back 11 weeks later.
You light me up when all I see is darkness. You light me up when I'm down. And if I fall apart, you know where to find my pieces when they can't be found.
So downstairs is all looking pretty good, and this has been a thorough refurbishment from the ground up.
We've had to remove floors, lino. We've actually taken out a rather lovely quarry tile floor because it was a solid floor, which the foot of soil or thereabouts underneath is currently sitting in the back garden, waiting to be re-landscaped.
Unfortunately, because the road is narrow, they weren't able to get a skip outside. Getting materials in and out can be a real issue and well worth thinking about. This lot will be taken out the back, loaded up for dispatch. But what about the upstairs? Well, that's more like it. They've rebuilt those wobbly walls. Good job.
My wife is responsible for doing all the painting of anything wooden, doors, skirting, picture rails, around the windows, and I roll at everything else. So we work quite well together, but she's worked incredibly hard and done a lot of hours with a paintbrush.
Adam's wife, Philippa, wasn't the only member of the family getting their hands dirty.
So the lucky people who helped me dig the whole of the floor out were my sons. They did a bit, and also friends of theirs as well who were quite fit and healthy. They were a bit tired after the 2 days it took to do it.
And to complement the hard work done by the family and friends, there was a team of builders that did the skilled work such as rewiring, plastering, plumbing and the central heating. They toiled away in the week, then they passed the baton back to Adam and his team at the weekend.
So the other challenge we've had is that we both all work full-time, my wife and I, and we live about 50 minutes to an hour away. So we've done this in spare time that we don't have. So we've been here every weekend for about 10 weekends, and partly evenings and sometime in the week. So we've both been here. It's been quite tiring, and if anybody's thinking of doing this, in a timescale, they really need to throw some hours at it and be prepared to do some tired and late nights.
Well, it might have been hard work, but all the effort has certainly produced a much improved property. But with a couple of weeks still to go to finish it off, mainly in the back garden, their timescale has slipped a few weeks. But has their budget remained on track?
So we had an original budget of around 12,000. We lost in some of the plastering. We had a lot bigger job plastering than we thought. We've done a lot more carpentry work, which we've had to pay somebody to do as well. So we're probably rising towards 15,000 rather than the 12. We always knew it'd go over.
And along with the 15 grand budget, Adam reckons he spent 4 grand on auction fees. So with his £76,000 purchase price, he's in this for a grand total of 95 grand. So has it been money wisely spent? What do two local property experts think?
This is my second visit to the property, and my initial thoughts with the renovation is it's done pretty well. It's right for this sort of type of property, good neutral decor. I think there'll always be a good sort of resale with this type of property.
First impressions of this property are that it's clean, it's tidy, very functional and perfect for the rental market.
Adam is keen to rent the property out, but having spent in total 95 grand, is this a solid investment?
I think for resale purposes, we're likely to achieve in the region of £110,000.
For resale, I would offer this property to the market at £110,000.
That's exactly what we thought, somewhere between 100 and 110. If they'd gone to the top side of that, that's brilliant. So it's what we expected. So, yeah, happy with that.
So, pre-tax profit of 15 grand might be available to Adam, but this is all about the house's rental potential.
For rental purposes, on the open market, in the region of £500 per calendar month.
On the rental market, I would expect to achieve in the region of £525 per calendar month.
That's interesting, because we've had a couple of people out and we are way above that in what they're saying. Whether we achieve it is another matter. So we'll see how that goes, but I think we'll get above that.
Yes, in fact, Adam is currently marketing the house at £650 per calendar month, which is quite a jump from the agent's £500 to £525 per calendar month valuations. But an average of the two would see a rental yield of above 7%. So what's next for Adam?
We've already bought another house, a little bit closer to home this time, down in Northamptonshire, and we'll be looking to not travel perhaps an hour each way on top of 8 and 10 hours at the weekend. So, yeah, we're already moved on to the next one.
Silverdale is a town just a mile from Newcastle-under-Lyme. For over 100 years, it was home to a large colliery where coal was mined, and for that reason, much of the housing in the town is made up of traditional terraced houses built for miners and their families. While Silverdale Colliery closed in the 1990s, the attractive terraces remain alongside more modern developments.
I'm here to see a terraced property, but it's not your average 2 up, 2 down. Here it is. It was most recently used as an office. Before that, it was 2 separate residential properties, now with a big commercial space on the ground. It had a guide price of £75,000. I'm intrigued to find out how it works on the inside. It sounds like an office, and everything about this screams office, from the carpets to the ceiling to the flooring. So it could make a great commercial space, as it already is. But I happen to know this comes with planning permission to put it back to 2 residential properties, and actually it's very obvious where the properties were once separated. Look at the length here, loads to work with. I'm intrigued to find out what else there is. I'm going to have a look. Through to the kitchen, it's clear to see this has been an office kitchen, the wood-panelled walls. It needs a lot of love and attention, just like the rest of the ground floor. It's been fine for commercial purposes, but you want to make it feel homely, and that will require a bit of effort. Now, looking around this ground floor space, what's clear is there's so much space, more space than anyone would ever really need for a living room. So, with Keele University just a 5-minute drive away, why not think about making this into an HMO property? So, multiple occupancy for students. It sounds like a great idea to me.
So it could be time for this office to clock out and time for you to cash in with a potentially lucrative house of multiple occupation. Let's see if the rest of the house fits the bill as well as the ground floor.
Upstairs, the layout's pretty baffling. So you have a long stretch of rooms, room after room, and you also have that mirrored on the other side. So much space, I'm pretty sure you could get at least 5 bedrooms in here. And the more I look around, the more I think it's perfect for an HMO. Of course, you have to get a change of usage, and that's very important. It's not always a given. The layout is baffling. You need to get your head around that. It's very functional. Clearly, it's an office, but look past all of that, and there's loads of options.
There's currently 7 rooms up here as well as a bathroom. I'm thinking change that into 5 habitable rooms and keep the bathroom where it is. Any more than 5 bedrooms up here and you'd need a second bathroom based on local HMO guidelines. Let's see what an agent from the auction house that sold it thought of the commercial premises, guided at £75,000.
A bit of a maze as you walk around the property, trying to get a feel for it as it was and how it's being used. But it could lend itself to a number of purposes for that potential client.
It could be a business, it could be 2 houses, but does the agent agree with me that this spacious lot could make a great HMO?
Where the property is situated and close to the university, it has got that potential for student accommodation.
Of course, if you didn't want to go with the current planning for 2 houses and preferred it as an HMO, there would have to be an application for change of use. And of course, you would have to comply with HMO regulations, install all the health and safety features required, like smoke alarms, fire doors, and the appropriate bathroom and cooking facilities. Could there be any other stumbling blocks with this property?
One of the main issues with the property, whether it be for residential resale or to let, will be the parking in the area. It is on street and on the road parking, and there's not much access and space to the rear.
If you were renting to students from the nearby university, it's not likely they'd all need parking, but I'd have a chat with the planning department to get their take on it first. So, what kind of rental could the house achieve on the HMO market?
If the property was converted into student-let rooms, we would look to place the rooms available somewhere in the region of £70 per week per room.
And what if you were to turn the property back into 2 houses? What could they be worth on the sales market?
We would look to place the properties for sale somewhere in the region of £90,000 per house.
Having options is never a bad thing. And here you have lots. Plan A, you could keep it as a commercial property. Plan B, you could change it into 2 houses and it already comes with that planning permission. Or Plan C, you could ask for change of usage to multiple occupancy. Who knows, somebody might have thought of a Plan D when it went to auction. Let's find out.
Guiding it at 75. Can I say 65 to start? Gotcha, thank you. 65 bid at £65,000. So going ones, bids at 65. 66 on the net, 66 in the room.
The bidding climbed slowly but surely, and as most of the bidders in the room fell away, an internet bidder was still battling it out with the remaining room bidder. We rejoin with the bidding at 98 grand.
98 on the net, 98, 99, 100 on the net, 100, 101 in the room. Net's out. 101 then, in the room at £101,000. 102 anywhere else? If not, I'm selling it at £101,000 for the first time, £101,000 for the second time, third and final time. 101. Sold to you, sir. Thank you for your patience.
The successful bid of £101,000 came from husband and wife Mark and Alison, who are professional property developers, and I met them for a chat to hear all about their plans for their newest acquisition.
Alison?
Hello.
Hello, congratulations. Mark,
Hello.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, what attracted you to this place particularly?
The size of it, and we thought it'd be a good property to use as a HMO.
How experienced are you in property?
We have about 20 properties altogether, some HMOs and some normal properties as well.
So, a lot of people would love to do that, but you've got to start somewhere. Tell me how you started and built that up.
It was back in 2006, wasn't it, when we really got married,
Yeah.
bought our first one, and it just ballooned really. We're going from one property to this, but it was always Mark's dream to do this.
Dreams can come true. Look at me, babe, I'm with you. You know you got to have hope. You know you got to be strong.
With 20 properties under their belt, Mark's dream has certainly come true. But it's wake-up time with rather a lot to do. So, what's the plan?
Hopefully upstairs there'll be 5 bedrooms. There's fairly 5 bedrooms layout there now, so they won't need to change the layout much. We'll split the bathroom at 2 bathrooms. Downstairs here, we hope to have 3 bedrooms, a decent-sized living room and 2 kitchens downstairs.
There's a lot of layout work to be done.
Yeah, it's an awful lot.
Yeah, we need to put a new door in to get from one side of the house to the other. The layout upstairs at the moment, one side of the house hasn't got a bathroom. There's only a bathroom on the other side. So we need to put a new door in between the 2 sides, so the one side can get through to the bathroom on the other side.
There are a number of things that make this feel like an office as soon as you come in. The windows at the front, they take up most of the front, which is unusual for a house. What would you plan to do there?
We'll hopefully rebuild the wall at the front of the house to replace the windows and make it back into a house.
The ceilings, again, very officey. Plans there?
This is a suspended ceiling. It's not too much trouble to take it out. It's only a lightweight suspended ceiling. The original ceiling is still in place above it.
And have you converted any commercial space before?
We've done one. Yeah, that was into 5 bedrooms. That was in Hanley.
What was the biggest obstacle you faced when converting the commercial before?
Oh, the planning permission.
Definitely
Would you
getting
say?
the planning permission, yeah. Yeah, it's difficult. It's quite a big thing getting the plans drawn and putting them all in and waiting to see if they're going to give you permission or not.
Do you have any concerns when it comes to the change of usage to an HMO, anything that might hold your application back?
I think the main thing is going to be the parking. We've only got parking on the street outside and there's no parking at the back. So that could be a problem.
If they can't convert to an HMO and rent the rooms out, Mark and Alison do have a plan B. They'll stick to the planning permission in place and change the property back into 2 houses and sell them on. Let's hope it doesn't hold them up too much.
I think it'll take at least 2 months to see if the plans get passed. After that, maybe 3 or 4 months to do the work. So from now, 5 or 6 months.
And budget?
I would hope to keep it around 20 maybe, but it's only an estimate, we're flexible.
And in that 20, what have you got earmarked? What do you think the big chunks of money will go on?
There's some structural work to do, building up the front wall to replace the office windows. There's no central heating in here, so that'll be quite expensive to get a full boiler and central heating system put in.
We've no gas supply, have we yet? We've got the pipe, but no gas. There's no gas in the building.
I'm guessing you have good tradespeople lined up. You have people you know and trust to do a good job for you.
Yeah, we've got people that we've used on other projects that we've done in the past, so hopefully we'll use the same people again to do most of the work.
And you're dab hands at this. You're experts at this. Does it get to the stage where you're like, yeah, we can do this, no worries?
Yeah, but this is the biggest project we've took on so far. So watch your space, really.
It's always a concern when you're trying to get things done. Are you going to get permission? How much you have to spend? There's always lots of worries, but so far everything's gone okay, so hopefully this will too.
Well, there's lots to do, but I feel like it's in the right hands. Best of luck and congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alison and Mark have plenty of experience, but this project is their biggest by far, and there are lots of question marks over layout and planning. Will they find the answers? You can find out later in the show.
Well, earlier we saw how one property turned out, but what about the other two?
Yes, will they look any different? And has all that time and money been well spent?
Let's go back and find out.
Time to head back to the Welsh Valleys, where I saw a rather charming bungalow that was set into the hillside. So what have we got inside? Well, you walk into this very strange room. It's obviously the kitchen, but it's the full width of the bungalow. Now, there's no way this was the original design. I reckon this is some kind of an extension, and it is kind of unusual. The side extension felt cramped and the ceiling rather low, explained by the pitch on the extension roof, which in my opinion was not at the right angle if you wanted the rain to run off properly. However, the rest of the layout was pretty standard, with 2 beds, a bathroom and some attic space. Retired maths teacher and bricklayer David bought the bungalow for £78,000 with his wife Heather. They hope to flip the property and the proceeds could go towards their retirement fund. So why this particular house then, Heather?
Well, originally...
Well, you're laughing. What was going on?
When we went to the auction, we were going to bid on another house.
Oh.
And then this was a last-minute addition. He said, well, we haven't seen it, we can't go for it. I said, no, but it's lovely.
But we didn't actually see inside till yesterday.
Oh, wow. And so what did you think when you walked through the door yesterday?
I was pleasantly surprised, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, I know it needs a bit of work, updating, etc., but in some of the places we've been to see at the auctions, this is a palace.
At least they did follow the golden rule and read the legal pack. Heather and David plan to have their palace turned round in 6 months. However, 2 years later, we're back. Will the red carpet be out for us?
What you do, raise a roof, everybody wants you to.
The new roof has raised the game of that extension, which now houses a brand new kitchen. The new roofline has created a bright, airy space. The old side entrance has been replaced with a new window and means there's lots more workspace. No red carpets for us, and the old carpets are still there waiting replacement. But down the hall, the old bathroom suite is thankfully gone. Quality units and finishes in kitchens and bathrooms make this a spot-on renovation. The rest of the house has been given fresh decor, and once the new carpets have been laid, it'll make the place feel open and modern. The house has been rewired and the new central heating system is installed. David has had to travel up from Northampton, so stayed here when doing any of the work, with Heather and her brother Brian helping out where they could. Their dog Caffrey no doubt gives this renovation a positive review. Ouch. But that doesn't mean things haven't been rough getting to this stage.
Brian, my brother,
came over to help David quite a lot, but then he had to have 2 cataract operations on his eyes. So unfortunately, a lot of the time he couldn't help Dave as much as he wanted to. But he's been a great help doing the kitchen, all the heavy helping, shift things around.
Yeah, and some painting.
Yes, he's been a godsend really, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And sadly, it's not just Brian who had issues with his health over the last 2 years.
I had to have a major operation, so that put me out of service for quite a while. But I've mainly been...
little bits and pieces, painting, helping.
Yeah.
I had a bit of a setback as well because I had to have an operation on my hand, and the surgeon said it takes 18 months to get over it completely. So that set us back a little bit as well. So between the 3 of us, yeah, we had quite a few setbacks. Plus the weather.
It does rain a lot here.
It just doesn't rain, it rains.
So there was a lot of outside work on the actual building, wasn't there?
Yes.
And that put back quite a bit.
When it rains, it really pours.
And the knock-on effects of the health issues didn't stop there.
David's had to travel backwards and forwards because of my ill health. I had to stay in Northampton a lot of the time. So a lot of the time he's been a one-man band here, doing everything himself, going away on the Sunday night, coming back on the Wednesday night or the Thursday, back on the Sunday. And that's been going on, other than your hand, near enough all the time.
Yes.
Thankfully, everyone seems to be on the mend. David and Brian did most of the work, but pulled in the appropriate tradespeople for the central heating and rewiring. The good news is that they haven't gone wildly over their 15 grand budget, having spent £16,000. So it's been trying times for the trio. Will they triumph over adversity? We asked 2 local estate agents along for a look. First, the agent who saw it the last time.
I think the changes that have been made are to a really high standard. They fit in very well with the shape of the property. It would be nice to see the work finished.
The standard of finish is absolutely right for the area and the property itself, because somebody who wants to buy this property would like to move straight in, and it's ideal for that type of market.
Heather and David have spent a total of £94,000 on this bungalow and are looking to sell this one on to fund their next project. So what could this bungalow be worth?
I'd advise an asking price of £130,000 on the open market.
This property could achieve on the open sales market, when finished, £130,000.
130,000, I suppose that's in the region of what we thought it would be. So yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah, quite happy with that.
A £36,000 profit minus taxes and fees isn't too bad at all. And that money will be invested in another property, but this time one that's more suited to bring in a rental income that will supplement their pension. But before any of that, first things first.
We've got a snagging list to do, so inside we're going to work on the snagging list.
And then we'll think about it.
And then, yeah, then we'll have a month off. We're supposed to be retired, that's the thing.
Silverdale in Newcastle-under-Lyme is somewhere we visited frequently on the show, but we've not seen much quite like the lot I saw earlier. What had been 2 residential homes had been made into an office, and this 75 grand guided lot now came with planning permission to change it back into homes.
Change your heart. Now, looking around this ground floor, what's clear is there's so much space. So, with Keele University just a 5-minute drive away, the more I look around, the more I think it's perfect for an HMO.
Everybody's gotta learn sometime.
HMO for students is what Mark and Alison had planned for their 101 grand purchase. The couple were the type that learned on the job, having followed Mark's dream of being property developers, and they'd amassed 20 properties, including a commercial unit they'd converted.
What was the biggest obstacle you faced when converting the commercial before?
Oh, the planning permission.
Definitely
Would you
getting
say?
the planning permission, yeah. Yeah, it's difficult. It's quite a big thing getting the plans drawn and putting them all in and waiting to see if they're going to give you permission or not.
In university degree terms, I thought their timescale of allowing 2 months for planning permission and then 4 months to do the work was a Jeff Hurst. That's a first class degree. But their 20 grand budget, more of a Desmond, which of course is a tutu. 9 months on, will a bunch of young students be setting up home here?
I don't mind the guy dancing with my girl. That's fine. I know him all pretty well. But I know sometimes I must get out in the line. Better leave her behind. But the kids are alright. The kids are alright.
6 rather than the planned 8 students will live here, but Mark and Alison have gone for a much higher standard with en-suites in every room.
Sometimes I feel I gotta get away.
And if you need to slip away, each room has its own dedicated study area. There's also a bright communal kitchen and living area too, and this feels a notch up from usual student digs. The kids are all right, but did Mark and Alison make it through the planning process okay?
Before we started, we had to get a change of use permission from the council. That involved putting an application to the council, and then they have an 8-week turnaround time to give you their decision. There was no issues with that. It was granted without any problems. To get planning permission, we had to get an architect, and then he had to submit the application to the council. It takes a long time to come back, and you're waiting all that time thinking, are they going to grant it or not? But there was no problems with it. It all came back okay, approved.
That was really frustrating, wasn't it, waiting all that time?
Yeah.
The last part of the project is the exterior of the building, and it's one of the reasons they're 3 months over their timescale.
At one stage, we thought we'd just put a window in the front on the one side and leave the big window that was already there in the other side. But once we'd done the first one, we decided the other one wouldn't look very good, the existing window, so we decided to do the second one as well. That meant we had to put a second planning application in to get permission to pick up the other window. So we put that in. That took another 8 weeks to come back. And the reason we put blocks in the second window is because we decided to render the front, which still remains to be done. The builder's going to start that soon. So it didn't matter what brickwork was there because you wouldn't see it because it'd be rendered.
And he's gone off on a well-deserved holiday. He'll do it when he comes back.
So what were the other big challenges facing them?
That's got to be the water.
Definitely, yeah. The biggest challenge was getting the water supply in to feed the en-suites. It was a big job. We wanted to put 6 en-suites in the house, but we found out that the water supply coming into the property wasn't sufficient to support those. So we ended up doing it a different way and putting 4 tanks in the loft for stored hot water, which was quite a big job. So that's what had to be done to get the water for the en-suites.
The standard is really good for the students, but would Alison and Mark pass a course in project budget management?
Yeah, the budget is a bit over, but we've had to do a lot more than originally planned. Yeah, we did have originally a £20,000 budget. I do the books, and I was watching all the invoices coming in and in and in, and it's ended up at about £28,500 we spent.
I'm afraid, Mark and Alison, that a near 50% overspend will lose you marks, but I will award extra credit for pride taken in your work.
I feel really, really chuffed. I think it's our best one to date. To see the change from what it was to this, it makes you really, really proud of what you do.
I don't think we'd do anything bigger. It was very stressful getting this done.
Enjoyed it though, haven't we? It's we've had a few tears and frustrations, but
yeah,
enjoyed it.
We're relieved now it's finished.
Yeah, very.
Sounding like a student after his finals there, Mark. But will it get top marks from 2 local